Alright, and welcome back to the daily mewgenics run. Last time ended in crippling defeat. Like, I am physically unable to show my face to my family. I am so ashamed to have lost such an easy run. So today I am going to take back my honor. Mr. Darcy. Okay, I was just watching a Cold Ones videos. That's a good premonition, I think. A good omen. Energia, okay, that sounds Russian. Pablo, that sounds Spanish. Mr. Darcy, that's obviously Australian. And Contusion, Daco. Okay. We got a pretty cosmopolitan team, except for Contusion, which decided to be gross. Burst is a crazy spell. I'm gonna give you some intelligence so that you can use it. Energia would be a very good name for an engineer, but I don't have the engineer unlocked yet, so I'm gonna give you the role of tank. Pablo, you can spawn cooked meat. Okay, should be named Zuckerberg, cooking these meats. You know what I mean? Okay, you can cook meats. That's a heal. Ooh, you fast footsies. You are immune to negative tile effects. That is very nice for for you, because you are going to have to move around. Dexterous hit. You have shit dexterity. What if? Yeah, I'm tempted. Yes, very high in luck though, which would be good for a thief. Let's go for a hunter. I thought they were called ranger. I might be wrong about that. Let's use some items, because last time I was very torn about items that I wanted to keep or not. So let's, until I get a better what's it called, a better. Oh, I can look at these. When you heal a down unit, revive it. That is OP. I don't think I'm gonna need to use items actually. Traps, you basically gotta spawn a bear trap. Okay. When you cast a spell, all allied cats gain that spell in their bonus slot. That is kind of useless. I've never found a use for that. Oh, except combined with burst. If the castable once per battle condition only applies to each cat, that means 4 bursts per fight. And when it's improved, it's like once per turn round. So that could get really nasty really fast. Let's think about that for a minute. Well, I don't really need to think about it. I just need to remember it. Priority target. Oh, that's why he's got like insane constitution. +1 constitution. Enemies will attack you instead of your allies if they can. That is very nice, but that means you need some bulk. Ooh, 1 thorn when you take damage. That is very nice with this passive. What else could... Ooh, bleed thorns as well is very nice. Basically, everybody is gonna hit you and get hit for 3 bleeds and 1 thorn. No, not 1 thorn. More thorn each time. This is gonna improve geometrically. No, not even linearly. Really not that good, but you know, you take what you can. Heal to full at the end of the battle. That might be needed actually. And in terms of face, I mean, none of that really is gonna change much. So let's get to it. The anointed trackers. Okay. This motherfucker's been blessed by the fucking Pope. At least a man of the church. Or a woman of the church. No, actually, there's no woman in the church, unfortunately. Healing world. What the fuck? Does that clear your bleeding? Nope. That is a waste. That's not too bad though. You can... Oh, crap. Oh, nobody's threatened by it, actually. Well, that's fine. Okay, everybody's gonna focus on him. So, ooh, I forgot that. Yeah, that's nice. That's a nice use case. Okay, burst. Everybody's spent all of and he plays a bit late, but do you have even 7 charisma? No, you got 4 charisma, so you're not gonna be able to use it. So let's wait a turn, not use any mana on him. Let's see if that if the condition for bursts works as like per cat or for the entire battle. Let's finish you off. Never mind. Okay, why is Mr. Darcy so bad? I thought he had crazy dexterity. Never mind. Okay. He's got 6. That's not bad. Do you get thorns when you close quarter heal with them? And by them I mean clerics. I don't remember. Let's play it safe. Let's push that into you, giving me some nice cash. Let's burst. I'm bursting on a maggot and see if you can burst as well. That is very, very nice. That is, you can. I can go some crazy damage turns. Basically, I can do a 40 damage, 220 damage rounds for basically nothing. That is very good. I can even maybe, well, I can't because I need to charge her for a round because everybody has shit charisma. But I can really do something with that. Give 2 mana to a unit. Isn't that perfect though? That's not enough. That's not enough. Unfortunately. I would need, because it starts with 9 charisma, so 9 mana base. And you need 7 mana to use burst. You could spend 3 mana and you can't use burst anymore. To give 2 mana to the ranger who still cannot use burst because he only has 4 charisma, so plus 2 mana, that would be 6 mana, and this is 7 mana. So this would make it, this sounds fun, this sounds good, but actually it ruins everything. Chaos teleport is fun. Let's take something fun. I mean, even though burst is full map range with no line of sight, let's do something fun. Let's charm this kitty cat. Yes, he is following us. That's nice. Oh, he's just a kitten. Yes, that makes sense. I thought it was going to be like a colorless cat. Oh my god. I just realized that when you are colorless, you are colorless. Because color and color are homonyms. Oh my god. I never figured that out because I don't really... Like when I speak about this game, I mean, I use class instead of the term, the in-game color terms. Terminology 9. Thank you, kitten. And so I never realized that color is color. I mean, that's really... I sound stupid saying it again and again. Falling in love again and again, as Charlie XCX once said. Let's finish you off. Yes, I was hoping these guys would not be able to reach us, and I was right. Maybe it would be better though if you went into the melee this way. Yes, you are going to be able to do some big damage. That's fine. Big with 2 E's. Oh, if they eat you, usually I would not mind people missing, but like here, really? Let's use burst. I'm gonna burst. Sorry. As if bursting is not enough of a figure of speech for bursting, I need to get it confused with the even less subtle. There you go, that is very nice. I think this team is much better than the last, which is great, because I don't want another run to die in alley, because that would be bad. But I am not... Again, Awaken, I think the game wants me to take it, so I'm gonna take it. If you don't remember, yesterday it was offered up to me and I said no. Propeller cap, I wish I had one of those in real life. I fucking wish I had one of those in real life. I was thinking actually recently, because I was watching Super Mega, and they have what's better. Okay, that's the kind of shit. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to the story right after, but this is one of my favorite events because what is better, boogers or poop, is probably something I have already said in life, like actually, like unironically, or if when I was a kid, or ironically as an adult, to make people laugh. And when the first time I played this game and I encountered that, I literally burst out laughing like out loud, and I could not stop for like a few seconds, which is really, really, really embarrassing as a 43-year-old. Boogers or poop? Let's go with poop for today. Boogers kind of gross me out. Oh, forbidden fruit. Let's go. Not my Adam and Eve ass eating the fruit. Use ill to fool, blah blah blah. There will be permanent consequences for eating this fruit. You don't say. Okay, so going back to the story about propeller hats. I was watching a Super Mega video, a podcast actually, and Matt was wearing a propeller hat in it, and I was like, gosh darn, I want one of those. But I was thinking, like, if I buy one of those, first of all, I want something that's like not made of cheap plastic, right? Because I want it to look at least nice. I don't want it to buy just for a gag, even though it is exactly for that reason that I would buy it. But I want still to look nice. But like, then I was like thinking, like, what opportunity do I have to actually wear it? Because if I wear it just outside in public, like doing my shopping or whatever, that's gonna look like insane. But like, isn't that like kind of funny though? Like, you're doing your shopping and like you're browsing through the aisles, and suddenly you come upon something where someone, sorry, I'm not a thing. You come upon someone wearing a fucking propeller hat, like unironically. That would be fucking very funny. That would amuse me to no ends. And so maybe I'm gonna buy one and just wear it like on the reg. By the way, insane fight. 2-round Magnus with the tank was crazy. I can actually make my tank even better with 99 brace. That is actually insane. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Tell me what you think about propeller hats in the comments, because I'm like that close to actually buying one. And I might actually just do it. Can I revive you and you be a friend? No. Okay, that's fine. And then I was thinking, because I want one day to work like as an academic, like and maybe teach even in university, and do research. Like, how crazy would that be? Like, if you're like a student or another researcher or whatever, and you hear that there's like you go to a conference or whatever, like, right, and like I come out on stage like for a conference or something, or even for a seminar that I give or whatever, and I'm wearing a fucking propeller hat. That would be crazy. But like, unfortunately, I probably, like, unless I'm wildly successful at independent research, which is unlikely, probably any reasonable human being would tell me to fuck off if they worked with someone like me and I proposed this. You know what I mean? Like, my colleagues would say, no, don't do this. You're going to ruin the reputation of the lab, the team, the university, or whatever. So obviously that's not something that I will ever do. And like wearing it on the reg, like, it's kind of funny. I might do that actually, but wearing it at university in any kind of academic situation is very unlikely. But that's sounds very funny to me. Spike trap, let's go. First art fight, absolutely destroyed it. By the way, maybe for you it's very good because 4 smarts and 2 charisma, and you do not deal any physical attacks. So that's like basically a win-win situation right there. But like, to what extent like are you free to do this kind of stuff, like even in your free time, is what I'm wondering. Because once you start working in a team or even like in the corporate world, in a company, like because nowadays like companies do a background checks on your social media and stuff like that, so they can filter you out from the beginning, basically, for basically any reason, because I don't think this falls under discrimination if you don't even maybe it's discrimination though, but I don't think it's very enforced anyways. But like, if you're like prospecting, like you're looking to hire someone, and you see my application for any type of job, and you see on social media that I wear proper hats out and about, as they say in Canada, would you hire me? Wouldn't that be like kind of a brand risk or something? I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't really show my face online, and I mean at all actually, so you would not be able to know, but maybe I'm just walking around the city wearing a proper hat, going about my business, and I happen upon co-workers and stuff like that. HR, obviously they legally can't tell me to stop, but they can put a word into other prospective hirers. I don't know. Sounds very tricky to navigate, especially for something that I don't really have to do, you know what I mean? But I want to wear a proper hat in public. That sounds very funny and silly. Can I kill you this turn? Only if I crit. Oh, well, fuck me. I can do that though. And you are not dead, fuck. You are dead though now. You killed yourself. Can't do anything about that. Why do I sound like... I don't know why when I say about that, I put on a Canadian accent, especially I channel Jordan Peterson for some fucking reason. I hate that guy, but his accent is really funny to me. What do I take? You have what? You don't need any. Oh, that would be insane though. Let's give you some movement. Ninja is gonna be happy because he's gonna see a lot of movement. Contusion, learn curse. Yippee! What is curse? -4 luck. I don't know how luck works exactly in this game, especially for the AI in this game, because for the player obviously means creating and better. I feel like it means hang on. Trample is crazy with the loadout I have with them, because I can just walk into enemies. I don't even need to wait for them to get into me. The radical rat again. Hello, Mr. Rat. What cause what terrorist organization do you belong to, may I ask? I don't remember what I was talking about after the propeller ad, but yes, I was talking about channeling Jordan Peterson's accent when saying about that. I don't know why. He's also like one of the first person that I heard speak English with like a relatively pronounced Canadian accent. Before that, I had never really... Oh my god. Fuck off. There you go. Like, for some fucking reason, he's one of the first Canadian I was exposed to as a non-native English speaker where I noticed his accent being fucked up. I mean, not to say that the Canadian accent is fucked up. I mean, I share a lot with Canadians, being French and all. But sometimes it's funny. Also, it's not like any Canadian accent because there's been a lot of memes about the Toronto accent recently I've seen. I'm not on social media anymore, but I still see some things. And for some reason, people have been discovering the Toronto accent recently, which is always fun as a linguist, to you know, get a look into something you don't really know about, because it's always fun. I love hearing about new accents and variety of speech and stuff like that, and I feel like English is really good about that because it's spoken all over the world in widely different places as a second language. So very often people have very pronounced accents in English. I mean, me, for example, but also like people who have who live in Africa and India and stuff like that. They have lovely accents. And I mean, as much as French is also spoken around the world, when it comes to, like, in France, the accent variety, while it is still there, it's not nearly as developed as in, like, the UK or something like that, because of a lot of language policies that I won't go into. But the French government basically hates, maybe not so much anymore though, I do think that they still hate linguistic variety in France and in French, but like some people say it's gotten better. I don't really agree, but on some aspects it has actually, but really just overall, most regional French variants were made illegal basically, or like shunned socially after the French Revolution pretty much, and the one in 1899, and which made, like, you know, the linguistic diversity of French in France not really that great, unfortunately. As a linguist, it's sad. I mean, you can go literally anywhere outside of France and start hearing a lot of beautiful ways people speak French, so I don't really mind, obviously. I'm going to start each battle with 2 tiny spider familiars, a spider egg parasite. I like this passive. I always take it when I can. Let's... Oh, fuck! I cursed the wrong character. Let's give you a cardboard box as a consolation prize. Oh, that sucks. Do I go to the junkyard or do I go to the sewers? Let's go to the junkyard. I want an easier time and a shorter run for tonight. Let's go to the junkyard. I hate the junkyard with all the bleeding effects and all the glass everywhere. It sucks. Anyways, back to ranting about French and France. If you don't know a lot about French, it sounds... Actually, I was thinking relatively recently that I don't really understand how people think that French is a romantic language, romantic sounding and stuff like that. Because to me, it sounds like shit, to be honest. It sounds very monotonous. Whereas in English you have like stress patterns different for every word. In French, basically you have one stress pattern per sentence, if that is even a thing. But like basically, stress patterns happen at the end of sentences, if you consider that sentences exist, or at the end of at least prosodic. Oh fuck, I forgot about that guy. That these guys do that. Hosts are as annoying in that game as they are in Isaac, aren't they? Ooh, yep. Hello. So I always thought that, like, French kind of sounds bad, and as a French person, maybe it's because I'm very used to it, but I always wonder, like, how do people actually like French as a language and find it attractive and stuff like that? And I raised that to someone I know, and they completely disagreed with me actually, and they told me that they think that French is beautiful and stuff like that, and French as well. Another person that speaks French, right? Oh, okay. I did not know they did that. All right, it's just a shooting that got. Yeah, it's just them shooting at point blank range. Okay, no, never mind. I knew that they did that. But like, yeah, maybe I'm just weird about French because I know it, and I like new and shiny things, exoticism and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I'm not able to fully appreciate what I know because it feels very normal to me. But yeah, maybe that's just that. Because by all means, it's a very popular language. I mean, not necessarily by choice in a lot of cases, because it's the result of the French colonial empire, but fucking rest in peace, you know what I mean? P-I-S-S, by the way, not P-E-A-C-E. But, I didn't think people actually liked French. Maybe it's because, like, people who actually appreciate French in my head are, like, usually, like, right-wingers and people who are very proud of their national heritage. And that's kind of bad. But I guess that's not the only type of people who like the language. Poets probably also like the language and stuff like that. So I guess that makes sense. And also I read a lot of poetry in French, so why do I read poetry in French? If I dislike the language, I guess I do like the language when you think about it. But I don't know why. I have some... When I started learning linguistics in school, I always was like, I need to learn a new language because I'm not going to study French. French is bad, French is lame, French is old and shite, as one might say. And obviously 5 years into it, that never happened, because learning a language is actually pretty hard. And I know English, but I share the same feeling towards English that I do towards French. But I'm not gonna say that too loud because I'm speaking English right now and you might be offended. And my feelings towards French are conflicted, so I guess that's the same goes with English. Nice brace on the thing, by the way. I like reading poetry and stuff in English, so I guess I do like English, even though it's full of weird inconsistencies. I guess French and English share a very strong connection historically and just historically actually, but well, they're both Indo-European languages, which always helps. But if you know a bit about the history of England, and I mean England, not like the United Kingdoms, you probably know that they were invaded by Normandy in the 11th century. And I recently learned, I knew about that because, that's a big part of also French history, obviously. But I recently learned that Tolkien, the writer, was not too fond of Normandy exactly for that reason, because when the French, the Norman actually, invaded England, they kind of like forbid people from speaking. Ooh, that's nice. Forbid people from speaking their language and practicing their culture. And so English, Celtic culture, and Germanic culture was kind of erased and replaced with Norman culture, which is not quite French culture, but to be honest, it's closer to French culture than it is to Celtic cultures, definitely. And so Tolkien, which is an enjoyer of language and culture, especially of England, is kind of bitter about that, which I can understand to some extent. I don't think he was the kind of guy to just like go up to Norman people and say fuck you, but so that's nice at least. And I can understand his frustration with that. But I don't remember what the fuck I was talking about, to be honest. Yes, the shared history between French and English as languages. Well, Norman at the time was a language that was not quite like French, because French did not exist at the time. It was a constellation of different languages in France, divided mainly between North and South. And French, and Norman French, or Norman, was part of the northern half of that divide. And turns out modern French is mostly related to that northern half of French languages. And so you find in French, modern day French, a lot of similarities with Norman from the time of conquest, and English. And in English you find a lot of Norman words which also appear in French, but they evolve differently in English than they did in French from Norman. That's what we call cognates in linguistics. And they make learning languages kind of easier sometimes, at least learning vocab lists, because a lot of cognates between French and English are therefore very easy to learn when you start to see to learn the different ways they evolved. A car comes from Norman char or car, car probably, how it was pronounced then, and in French it became char, which does not mean car, but means what's it called? Carriage. You know what I mean? So, you have a lot of cognates. I mean, table, table. Literally most of the English common vernacular lexicon is made up of Norman cognates with French. So I could go on. But, it's nice as a learner. Even though like they don't really sound alike, they are written pretty much the same. Take table in French is also table, written out table, but is pronounced table. Which, once you learn how to read French, becomes much more obvious, obviously, but it's not to be taken for granted. But I do think that the similarities shared between these two languages have helped me and others a great deal when trying to learn English, and for the English-speaking folks to learn French. Even though, and also like, if you've mastered English spelling, French spelling seems very simple, even though it is very fucked up. But French and English are probably the only two languages I know that have such fucked up spelling systems. I mean, what the fuck, you know? And it's a chore to learn. Nobody fucking knows how to write. Everybody relies on spell check and stuff like that nowadays, and like, but like nobody does anything to change it somehow, for some reason. Like, everybody's content with a horrible system, like, but you know, like, everybody likes. I know a lot of people in French which are very against the spelling system. Dyslexic people, for most of them. I have a very good friend which is dyslexic, and he's not that badly dyslexic anymore, but he probably would be happy if we could let go of all spelling altogether. Same for my nephew, which is also dyslexic. I mean, the French spelling system doesn't have any reason to exist. Same for the English. I mean, they are very similar in that they are very idiosyncratic, and that they kind of like keep some very, very old ways to write words that were captured phonetically at a time where they were said, pronounced in such a way, but were fossilized in this very old state of the words. Fuck you, by the way. I fucking hate these sirens. And never really change. Like, nobody says should or would. The L is silent. Probably comes from a time where it was not silent. But we keep it. We keep it because it's pretty, because it reminds us of our history. In French it's the same. But sometimes the history is even fake, so what to even believe in anymore in this life? But I do understand that completely changing a spelling system is pretty much impossible. And trust me, I've tried. But somebody needs to do it at some point. You know what I mean? We can't keep fucking... Well, either two things need to happen. We could keep this fucked up spelling system and people can just stop caring about it all the time. Like, if everybody becomes nice about it, doesn't really matter if it's fucked up. If everybody gets it wrong, and nobody cares about getting it wrong, then it's fine. It's the fact that people like call you out on it every time you get it wrong that's annoying. So, or we change it so that the people who are annoying quit being annoying about it. And I know that's a very sensitive subject. Some people really, really, for some reason, love defending the arbitrary rules of the French spelling system, and I can only imagine that it is the same in English. That's why the term grammar Nazi is so preponderant in English and French. But, you know, I wish it could change. Take it from a linguist, okay? If you don't take it from, if you don't want to hear it from like a kid because you are ageist and you consider children to be stupid and that's why they can't understand the spelling system, fine, be ageist, whatever. But if you want to hear it, at least take it from a linguist who has mastered the spelling system of both English and French, and is still fucking fed up with it. You know what I mean? Or at least be if you really so desperately want to keep it, practice it yourself and leave people be. You know what I mean? That's my rant about spelling. There's so many languages where spelling is not even like in the cards. Take fucking any language, basically. German. pretty much written out as it is pronounced. Arabic, pretty much the same. I'm not too good at Arabic. I don't know Arabic enough to know for sure, but definitely classical Arabic. Italian, Spanish, Finnish, all of these languages are pronounced exactly the way they are written. They don't have any fucked up spelling system that's like, well, these two things, you know what I mean? And they work pretty fine. And obviously the argument is it's history. You don't want to remove history. It's all culture and stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of things in French and English culture have had to stop because they are shit. For example, in France we killed the king. And why not kill the motherfucking spelling system? Because to be honest, when you look at the history of written French, it was a very, very big part of the monarchy. So why kill the king but keep his instruments in use still? You know what I mean? Modern day French is a creation of l'Académie Française, the French Academy, which was created by Richelieu under the orders of King Louis XIV. So you know, if you are an anti-royalist in France, you can't really argue for the keeping of this arbitrary spelling system. I don't think so, at least. At least you can't be so without being a huge hypocrite. Which, I mean, it's up to you if you want to be an hypocrite at this point. I can't force you to do anything. Let me concentrate a bit. This boss fight is a bit annoying, and I can very easily kill myself on accident, which has happened numerous amount of times. Oh my god, so many freaking... See, I was gonna hit this guy, which would in turn proc him to spit on him, killing him. And I can't hit any of these fuckers. Which is the one who lobs? And which is the one? Lobs, okay. He lobs maybe behind him. Let's take a bet. Let's take a chance. There you go. I got somewhat lucky there because I do not know which one is which ever. Let's do this. I was on multiple occasions able to make them hit each other exactly in a like infinite feedback loop of hitting each other, and that was very, very satisfying to watch. I was never able to record it in time because that's something that spontaneously happens because I never really set up for it. It just happens. Let's fucking try to get you out of dodge. There you go. That's nice. Because 4 HP in the midst of battle is not a good place to be. You are dying actually because even though they hit you in short range, well, they don't hit you in short range. It's long range attacks at point blank range, which is annoying. But I think it should be fine because he's 23 HP. Which one? Yes, if he dies, he goes nuclear, which I never get hit when they go nuclear because oh, poison, that sucks. I need to kill him first then because I can't take... Oh my god, they are actively working against me. Yeah, this always crits, no? No, it's just, I'm just insanely lucky. Do you crit? You don't crit. Thanks God. Danke Gott. This is German. Oh my god, oh yeah, because he's infested, so he doesn't leave a trace. Okay, that was nice. That was a nice fight. A bit messy, because this fight is always messy for me. I can't seem to to never die. What do... Oh, gang up? No, not for him. Trample over one time. Ah, fuck. I already trampled by default. Oh, I'm done with the run actually, so I don't need to care. Never mind. That is what the kids call a W for the anointed trackers. This is the start of my 100 win streak. And I unlock this cemetery. As I said earlier, I always skip these, so let's not skip these on accident. I don't think I've never seen this, because I remember reaching this boss and being like, I've never seen this. And actually, I had seen it. I would have, at least, if I hadn't skipped the cutscene. Oh, that's rude. I need to censor that. By goodness. Let's go to the boneyard. That's where me and your mom meet every night, by the way. That's crass, I'm sorry. Can I give Butch enough cats to unlock better storage? This turn, no. If I had won the last run, I could have. Unfortunately, I am dumb and stupid and bad at the game, so I am going to leave you here. I hope you enjoyed this episode and my insane rant on languages, because there's probably a lot more to come. Bye bye.